Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to discuss self-defense weapons that are not firearms. No, you're not supposed to call it weapons. It's a tool. Shut up. So at this point, we're talking about less than lethal options. And generally, I don't recommend any less than lethal options unless you're left with no other choice. Now, why do I not recommend less than lethal options? Because in my opinion, if you are defending yourself, every confrontation could potentially be life-threatening, and you do not have time to find out after jabbing a guy with a pointless thing that makes them kind of uncomfortable, or spraying him with some spray that may or may not work, that it's too late. You've now pissed the guy off more and your life is over. So it is my opinion that if you're going to defend yourself to the point that you know for a fact that your life is safe. Now, there are people that are forced into the boat of carrying less than lethal options because of work, because of tyrannical state laws, because they are unfamiliar with firearms, and so on and so on. So that's what we're going to discuss, is the less than lethal options that are self-defense weapons other than pistols. Now, I have a variety of rules that pertain to this. Number one, any weapon you use, it's a tool, shut up. Any weapon you use needs to extend your reach, needs to make this longer, needs to keep the bad guy from being able to grab a hold of you. And that is one of the reasons why I find firearms to be the best self-defense weapons out there. Number two, do you have to know how to fight to use it? In other words, we're talking about like Kubotans, brass knuckles, things that just fit in your hand, that are really effective if you already know how to fight, if you already have boxing or martial arts knowledge, but without that knowledge, you're just kind of flailing a thing in your hand that isn't doing a whole lot of good. So does that weapon require you to know how to fight to use it effectively? If it does require you to know how to fight to use it effectively, just learn how to fight. You're going to be so much better off than counting on some eBay or Amazon self-defense poker than if you just know how to fight, if you take the classes and learn how to fight. Number three, is it concealable? And I say that because most people aren't want to walk around with like the Braveheart sword strapped across their back and things like that. You know, walking around with like the things that nunchucks fit in on your back and things like that. Not that nunchucks are necessarily a bad option, but is it concealable? Number three, does it have a limited range? Now, it should extend your range, it should extend your reach, but does it have a limited range of effectiveness? For instance, batons. I don't like batons, those extendable batons that, you know, that cops use. You can see them, you can see it in videos all the time, cops beating somebody, and it does virtually nothing to them because they're getting hit with just the base of it, this area here, not the little ball that's out of the end where you're getting the most maximum force and velocity behind it. So something like a baton, again, if you know how to fight, you know how to use it to tie up limbs and things like that, but otherwise you're just flailing it frantically and it has a limited range of effectiveness. And lastly, will it stop a person? It needs, whatever you're using needs to stop a person. Again, when you find out it doesn't stop that person and it is a life-threatening altercation, it's usually too late. This is one of the reasons I don't like pepper spray or OC spray. I don't like OC spray because number one, it can easily work against you. Number two, it is highly ineffective in many cases. This is seen all over news, this is seen all over videos and things like that, all over testing, product testing and things like that. It is highly ineffective in many cases. It can often be used against you and it doesn't stop a person. Even if it is effective, oftentimes it's only mildly discomforting and could actually make the whole situation worse. Now, I'm not going to get into the weapons that I think are the best or the worst. I could tell you that, again, you have things like Kubotans. I think they're garbage. These little spikes that you hold in your hand, I think those are just horrible wastes of money. Brass knuckles, little paddle blackjacks, things like that. These are horrible wastes of money. If you have let an attacker get so close that something as small as a Kubotan or some little ring that sticks out of your finger or something like that, or a blackjack or brass knuckles is your only option, then you need to know how to grapple. You need to know how to grapple. You need to know how to wrestle. You need to know how to clinch and utilize trips and things like that. Because not only can somebody that is aggressive enough, bigger than you, or even have some sort of fighting knowledge take that away from you and use it against you, or even render it useless, but they just overall give people a false sense of hope that that's something that's going to save their life. Mid-range things like sticks, nightsticks, and batons and things like that. Again, if you know how to fight with them and you know how to lock up joints and things like that, possibly I believe they could be a decent self-defense weapon, but they have a limited range, and it's only that 20 inches or 18 inches where the end of it has the most velocity that you're even going to do any sort of real damage. Again, that is a little bit too close for my comfort. You don't want the person to be able to get a hold of you. And 9 times out of 10, when you see it on a police video camera, it's because the cop is grappling with the person and they're trying to like beat them, and they're only getting them with that much of the base of it near the handle, doing absolutely no good. Now, if I were to suggest a less lethal option that I would carry, if I had to, it would probably be something like a taser. Not a stun gun, not those little stupid flashlights that have the little stun gun in them, or the stun gun themselves. Again, mostly pointless. The person gets too close. The light of the flashlight is more effective than anything, than the stun gun itself. And can easily be taken from you or rendered useless by somebody that's bigger or stronger than you. So, an actual taser that shoots the hooks out and has the timer built into them, usually like a 20 or 30 second timer. You hit the person, you drop the taser, you run, and they are doing the floppy fish on the ground. Now, tasers are not 100% effective, but of everything I've listed and everything I've seen for self-defense weapons, I believe the taser to probably be the most effective and the best reach possible. Now, on the other side of that is the OC sprays and the pepper sprays and the streams of spray and things like that. And while there's plenty of people around there that carry those, again, I think there's a false sense of security. They're been shown to be fairly ineffective in many cases, can affect you negatively in many cases, and only really results in discomfort of the bad guy, of the attacker, and doesn't really stop them. So there you go. There's my take on less than lethal options or self-defense weapons that are not firearms. Now, agree or disagree, go ahead and comment down below. You're not going to change my mind. I've been doing this for a very long time, and that, in my experience, is really where I stand on the subject. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Check out Patreon or Subscribestar if you want to support the channel and get some extra content. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.